Hello?
Yes, hello. This is Hollywood. This is the Ultimate Uniting Givers of Themes, the podcast.
It is, actually.
Okay, never mind.
This is the podcast for the Ultimate United Givers of Themes, and we're also known as TUUGOF. We're gonna talk about the movies that we rewrote all the themes for. We're watching some movies and complaining about things, cause we want
Do that
our
bad
themes in
boys
these damn movies. But we don't think Hollywood has agendas to deal with how real our themes are. We don't think the themes from all these movies cut the mustard good enough, and we can do a better job. So we rewrote the themes, and now they're better themes. And now this is a podcast where you listen to us talk about our themes. Okay, here we go. Let's podcast.
Hey, Escape from New York. I think this is this. I know I said this 7 or 8 times, but I think this is the best song I've ever written.
Oh, okay. Hey.
I find it real pleasant to listen to.
It might just be me, but I find that songs that are pleasant to listen to generally are good songs.
Yeah. So here we go. Here we go.
You're a criminal. You live with us here in New York City. It's a prison of the future. And you, sir, are a saint. That is your name. And you're here. And we're thankful that you're here. And you're ornery. Oh, escape from New York. Escape from New York.
What else do you need to know?
Yeah, I mean, futuristic prison, you're here and you're ornery. Let's. That tells me what's happening in this film.
Not much else happens. So much so that it didn't even see the need to do a second verse. Yeah, so that's it. Short and sweet.
And having met all of my goals during the first verse, there was no need for a second.
Yeah. So, Escape from New York, another John Carpenter flick. I feel like we've done a few John Carpenters recently, and by a few, well, at least one other, The Thing.
Yeah, we've done a couple technically.
Yeah. Now, is a couple is always 2, right?
Yeah,
And a few is always 3.
yeah,
right?
I get in trouble with this at home because my partner is like if you say a couple, it means 2, and I'm like, yeah, but I just meant like, I'm gonna go blaze up a couple of dubes.
Well, you know,
it might be more than 2.
Yeah, and I mean, it might be a few.
Right, or it could be several.
Yeah. Isn't there a thing, and I think this is mostly, I tend to hear it a lot in like gangster movies, like Italian mobster movies, but they say a couple few. You ever hear that?
Oh,
Like,
I don't know
gotta
if I
go.
ever heard
I'm gonna
that.
go pick up a couple few bagels, or I guess stereotypically it would be Bialys maybe for them. Stereotypically,
Yeah, well, I mean,
in a movie.
hey, themes does stereotypes.
Hey man, I mean it's the stereotypical thing to do, you know.
Yeah.
But Escape from New York. This is a movie. Now I know Cody hasn't. This is another one he hasn't seen, and that ain't no big whoop.
I don't need to because the theme will tell me what happens in the movie.
So basically, what happens in the future? I believe it takes place in 1988. So we can, everyone can imagine 1988, and then you watch this movie and you're like, yeah.
When was this made?
I want to say 81. I think it was. Was this the one he did? I think this. Ooh, what did this? I think this preceded The Thing. I think this is what he did right before The Thing. So I'm gonna say 81 because it can't be 83 and it can't be 82 because 82 is The Thing. Unless he did 2. Maybe he did 2 movies because back then people used to bust out 2 movies like it was no big deal.
Yeah, they just like I have things to say. I find it interesting when there's like, a dystopian future, but it's set just like a couple of years from when the movie's actually made.
Yeah.
But then you see those things like Johnny Mnemonic took place last year.
Right. Yeah.
And as you can see, we really are in the world of Johnny Mnemonic these days.
Well, I mean, I've never seen Johnny Mnemonic, but I know what a mnemonic device is, and that's like when you use numbers to remember things that aren't numbers. Like if you want to remember, like, oh, I gotta pick up some, I got to pick up some oats. I got to go get oats. Then I would think of like a 0 and an 8 and a 4 and a 5.
Huh. Okay.
That would be my way.
That's your mnemonic
That's
device.
my mnemonic device.
Okay.
0, 8, because A sounds like 8, and 4 kind of looks like a T, and an S looks just like a 5, depending on how you draw it.
That's true. It definitely does. Depends how you draw it. But
Oh man, it would be drawing. be funny to just refer to writing as drawing from now on. That would be a good thing to do.
yeah, I mean,
why not?
That's really what it is.
Yeah. So, Escape from New York is a movie about this guy Plitzen,
Steak Plitzen.
Steak Plitzen.
I think it's Plitzen.
Steak Plitzen.
I'm pretty sure.
Ably played by Kurt Russell. And he's an ordinary guy. He's a criminal. And in the future, 1988, New York is just like, you know what? There's a lot of money in being prisons, like because there is you always hear about the industrial prison complex.
Oh sure, yeah.
And them motherfuckers be making money off of criminals.
Yeah, they're
big
making
time.
bank.
And it's not fair. And John Carpenter knows that it wasn't fair, so he's like, I'm gonna flip it for real and make the prison a whole city. Which he does. He flips it for real.
Okay. Yeah. Hey. Give me the keys to fucking truck. What the fuck?
So I think what happens is there's a wall around New York, and basically they just throw all the criminals there because somebody else wanted, like a rich guy probably wanted the real prisons for like some kind of cocaine fueled
for sex parties.
Sex parties.
You
Yeah.
wouldn't have sex get-togethers.
Have you heard about have you heard that shit in the news this week about that? You know that little kid who thinks he's a senator or something?
Oh yeah, I saw the
guy who punches trees
wow.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like and
he was talking about going to sexual.
And he's like, can you believe it? They're having sex parties and coke and number one, like, of course I can believe it, but everyone's like, he's lying. I'm like, I don't think so. I mean, have you they are having cocaine fueled sex parties,
Sure,
right?
Sure.
I would hope so. They're the most powerful people in the
I
world.
saw one of
Not
that
I
guy's.
condone that.
I saw that one of that guy's ads, and it.
Oh, what do you call people simps?
Yeah, he keeps saying, he keeps calling everyone. It's like one of those things where, oh wow, this is real. Listen, I should be in the government because I'm not a simp.
I'm not
What?
a socialist and I'm not a simp. And it's like, well, I don't exactly know what simp means. I think that's.
Simp is someone
is
who
it
is-
that they can't use the R word anymore, so they're saying simp, or is simp just like you're an like you believe in civil rights, you're a simp.
No, simp is very about manlyhood. A simp is somebody who respects women, I think.
So a simp is someone who like waits for consent. And
total simp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's way
Or
worse.
somebody who,
that's
like-
way worse than I thought.
Somebody who,
I thought it was just like oh, like those guys are a bunch of socialist like retards. Like I'm using their language that they
Yeah,
said.
like a simp is
Yeah.
like somebody who will like if this person has like a girlfriend, he'd talk to her and
So
be a simp.
yeah, so Harry Dean Stanton in this movie is kind of a simp because he's I think he's pretty nice to women. Although I haven't seen Escape from New York in like 5 years, so I don't fucking remember.
I mean, he's
But,
usually nice, like, even when he's not.
Yeah. Adrienne Barbeau is in this movie, and peak Barbeau, like you might, and Barbeau, Barbot it, You Barbot it.
B.A. Barbeau, B.A. Barbeau, oh.
I wonder if instead of you know how some people are like really into their names and then they use their names to turn them into catchphrases, like maybe when John Carpenter would be like, Adrian, little like less energy on this next take, and she'd be like, you Barbot it.
Oh man, that was a good take. You really barboed the S out of that one.
John Carpenter, director of this movie. And it's something I don't really realize until like hindsight, because growing up, like, it's funny, even I remember this movie being on HBO, and I know I watched it a lot. Like maybe just the little bit of our years of difference in the early '80s meant that I saw a little bit more stuff in the early '80s, and you were like, I want to go play with my Baba Juke or something.
I want to go drink a Baba Juke and hide a bunch of toys in the yard to never find.
Yeah, but I was in the house watching, maybe watching The Thing and Escape from New York. But even back then, like our parents, well, especially our dad, was real like artistic. He was snobby to the point where he would probably look at this movie and be like, that's a garbage movie.
Yeah, I don't think this movie was cool to watch at home.
Yeah,
but The Thing was. I know we had The Thing on VHS tape.
Yeah, so who knows? But like, I mean, I have but it's just interesting looking, because I love to watch a good mindless 80s action movie. But I think this one has a little bit more brains than a lot of them do, because John Carpenter was kind of like the man.
He was a big brain.
He's like the man. Fuck that guy. Like a lot of his movies are about fuck the man.
Fucking
like,
fuck the man.
Like They Live, which is I have a feeling you haven't seen that one either.
It's true. I have not seen.
But you know the deal with that one. You put on glasses and then you see that all capitalists are really aliens.
Right. Yeah. Is that the one about chewing bubble? Does that have the chewing bubble gum line?
Yeah. It's like, I came here to chew bubble gum, and you know what? I can't even fucking buy any because those monsters ate it all.
I came here to do things while I chew bubble gum, and instead I'm using glasses to look at monsters.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not monsters.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah. But Snake Plissken is your typical anti-hero, where if you're not familiar with that terms, it means he kills heroes. You know, he does not like them.
Anti-hero.
He doesn't like them at all.
Just like early Venom.
Yeah. But the deal in this movie is, like, I guess the president was flying in a plane, and somebody on that plane was like, let's fucking throw the president in New York. What the fuck? Who cares? And they do.
I mean, honestly, I could see why somebody would do that.
I mean, I could too, because honestly, like, most presidents, I'm going to say, fuck them. Or ditch them.
I'm going to go out on a limb and just say, fuck 'em.
Just by default, fuck him. You might have started out as a good guy, but now you're a president, so fuck him.
Oh, I figure you just can't be the president while also being a good person.
Yeah, I mean, not in America. There's no way.
Listen to what Jack Nicholson says in that movie about being a couple of good men.
Yeah.
Or maybe a few.
And listen to what Jeff Bridges says at the end of Contender, where he's like, Shelley, get out of here, man. You were mean.
Oh, yeah. That is a good part.
Hey, Shelley Runyon, get the fuck out of here.
Man.
Good speech at the end in that one, man.
I mean, that movie's got a lot of good speeches.
Good speech at the end, though. Remember that from the Contender?
I remember speech at the end, and I remember the good speech at the end. It's like, she will be vice president.
No, he said, a woman will serve in the highest office of the executive, period. It's gonna get happening.
And when Jeff Bridges says that,
and he is fucking... Man, he will not let it go with Christian Slater. He's like, you don't want to eat that goddamn shark sandwich, you fucking dick.
I forgot that Christian Slater was in that.
Yeah, because he was like a freshman.
I haven't seen that in a long
and Shelley Runyon was like, we're going to get this girl, because what's this girl going to do? She's going to come into politics and like fucking go have a picnic or something.
They could do a remake or just use the same cast and have Christian Slater be like, Mr. President, don't you think you're being a simp? Clearly.
Yeah, so Escape from New York is about this guy, Snake Plissken, and there's a plane going over New York, and the president's in it. The people on the plane are like, ditch him. So they chuck him into New York, and then like some generals are like, I don't know, let's get the president.
Hold on, can I ask?
Let's not us go in there.
This seems like an obvious question. I'm sure the movie clears it up, but I would think throwing someone out of a plane would instantly kill them.
Oh no, he was in some kind of pod or something.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe he escaped in a pod. Or maybe they were like, yo, go sit in that pod and we'll take your picture, and then they shot it out.
Let's throw him on the plane and leave him here. It's like, but you're in a plane. He will die.
Because they have the transponder in the pod, and he's following that like on a watch or something the whole time. But then when he gets there, they're like, no fucking president. Whoops. No fucking president. But man, this is a good movie. It's and I'm interested for you to see it someday, because like, you know, seeing these movies now for the first time, I'd be interested to be like, what'd you think?
Well, yeah, and a lot of these movies that I see as an adult, I mean, you know, what the hell? What the heck is happening? Messing with me.
Okay.
Well,
It's over, so
yeah.
no big whoop.
Yeah, I guess case closed.
Life is just like, I don't know. Like at this point, the way the world's going, like, nothing surprises me anymore. I mean, did you any of the stuff that's happened in the last 5 years, 10 years ago, would you ever believed that any of it happened? But it did. So now you're used to it.
I gotta say, I did believe that we'd eventually get a Pavement Terror Twilight reissue.
See, I didn't. I gave up.
I
'Cause
thought it would happen.
I thought it would happen 10 years ago. But now,
Sure.
but they're like, we're going to make you wait 10 years, motherfucker.
When some of the stuff from some of them B-sides were already on the Nicene Credence edition of
Yeah.
like Harness Your Hopes. That was on the Spin on the Stranger single, guys. Okay,
Yeah.
like
See,
okay.
that's why I thought there was never going to be a Terror Twilight one, because they're just like, there's not that much junk, so we just put it all in this other
Who
junk.
cares? Who cares what junk there is? Poof.
They are one band though that like, they put something out, probably gonna buy it, probably.
Sure.
Even if it's like I think I even bought Quarantine the Past, even though I already had those songs, but because you know why? Remastered.
Yeah, and I like the thing that they do where they're like you know what, they did their greatest hits, and like there were very few of what you would consider hits on it.
Yeah.
Like it was sort of like, oh, these are some deep cuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're like, hey, these are the greatest ones.
If they're-
Quarantine them.
Yeah. If there was an actual payment, I mean, I guess by default it would have to be all the singles.
Yeah, it would, it'd be Range Life and Cut Your Hair, and they're probably on that one. Couldn't
Probably.
say.
Yeah. Frontwards is on it.
Not gonna. Oh, that's a sick tune. That's one of the best.
That is one of the best. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great one. So Snake Plissken is like, you know what?
Plitzen.
Let's go to New York already, because that city parties. And when you get there, you're like, you realize that they party. And they do.
Does it party even harder now that it's a prison?
Yeah, but it depends who you're with. Like, there's this guy, Isaac Hayes plays the bad guy. Again, can't remember his name, so I'm going to go ahead and call him Big Daddy. I'm just going
Fair
to guess
enough.
there. And he parties, but then I think it's one of those things that's like, listen, if you're cool with us, then you party. But
Like
if
in
you're
a
not-
real prison.
But there's a pretty much there's a pretty good guarantee that you could be just killed by Big Daddy at any moment.
Okay, yeah, so that's just like a prison. Like, if you know the right people, you can be making gravy and where you slice the garlic so thin that it liquefies in the pan.
Yeah.
But then, if you don't know the right people, you could be one of the guys who gets totally aced on Oz.
Yeah, like Adebisi. Does Adebisi ever get aced? I don't think he does.
I don't remember. I only watched the first season, and that was like 10 years ago.
Hey, how come Oz never gets its due? Wasn't Oz before Sopranos?
I think it was concurrent with Sopranos.
I'm gonna say Oz was definitely first, by
Yeah, I
not
don't
not
know.
by
I don't
much,
know.
but I think it's
I
gotta
mean,
be
maybe
first.
it just didn't break through with commercial appeal.
But,
I mean, it did have Edie Falco.
Yeah, and the guy who played Michael on Lost, Harold Perrineau.
Oh, right.
And Adebisi, who played Mr. Echo on Lost.
When J.K. Simmons is like the Nazi, right?
He is, yeah. And what's Liz Lemon's boyfriend? He's on it.
Wait, Dennis or
Dennis.
Chris?
Yeah, Dennis. Yeah.
Man, I watched that show so many times.
Is 30 Rock good all the way to the end? I don't think I've ever made it to the end.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I got to a point where I'm like, where it's like, after so many years, can this have the same effect on me that it once did?
Sure.
And then the mirror coughed, and I mean,
Sure.
I really loves the Speedo, man. Like, that was good. Yeah, he's
Listen, it's just an old creaky mirror. Sometimes it sounds like it's talking softly.
I was watching some season 22 of The Simpsons the other day because that's the one that has it's like another Angry Dad one, but they make a movie out of it.
Oh, okay. I was watching season 20.
And I watched it because I was like, oh, Angry Dad, I remember that. That was a pretty good episode from 1990, like 1999. And then I didn't feel like putting anything else on. So I watched a few more episodes, and you know what? They were fine.
Yeah, it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Usually when I've watched it.
Yeah, people who have a different opinion than I do about the stuff that I like, not really sure where they're coming from.
Yeah, I don't really get that. And in some of the later ones, they do some cool deep cuts, like when they do the Punch Drunk Love Mattress Man commercial.
Yeah.
And there's one episode that ends with Lisa. It's an homage to one of my favorite movies, To Die For.
Yeah,
And they do that ice skating
That's
homage.
right, that's right.
To Ileana Douglas the first time around.
Yeah, I like it.
Cronenberg had just straight up aced Nicole Kidman.
I can't remember. I can't think of any examples now. Maybe we can think of them for a later episode. But there's. It's funny. You ever see a movie after you've seen it referenced on The Simpsons?
Oh, yeah, because I didn't see Citizen Kane until college.
Okay, yeah.
And then it was like, oh, now I get all of these jokes.
I mean, I guess I knew.
I knew they were Citizen Kane
I knew
jokes,
that was Citizen, but there's, and I can't even think of a thing right now. But
there's some of
those. There are
those.
definitely some where it's just where, years later you see it in a movie and it's like,
You're like,
oh my God.
that's what they meant.
Oh, so it wasn't an original joke. They were just talking about something else. I like that because you don't have to think as hard.
Sometimes a joke is just talking about something else. Look at Jimmy Seinfeld.
Yeah.
His whole thing is just talking about a thing.
Yeah, like what's the deal with everything?
Hey, what's up? What's the deal with we had the gentleman who plays piano and keyboards in the Ultimate United Givers of Themes. We used to have this like bit we would do when we were working in the warehouse where we'd pretend to be like that kind of comedian, but it was just a really bad one.
Yeah,
It's just like and another thing. How come my feet hurt all the time? And now is the joke.
Yeah. Isn't that the guy with the rotten toe you're just doing? Like,
I don't.
The kids in the hall, like.
Yeah.
I mean, that.
I didn't even realize that, but yeah, kind of is. Yeah.
Another thing. That's another thing.
And who would have thought of all the kid in the halls that I'd steal from Mark?
Mark, yeah, worst.
I like Mark.
Mark's great, but he's the worst.
But yeah, I mean,
somebody has to be the worst, and he's the worst.
And
but he's also great.
With the kids in the hall, I will say, to each their own. Any choice is a valid choice for who you think the best one is.
Yeah, but
because I waffle on it. I'm like, it's Bruce, it's Kevin. It's a tough call. I think when it really comes down to it, I'm a Bruce guy.
I'm definitely a Bruce guy, and you know what's funny? Dave deserves it, but I'll never give it to him. I just won't.
Because of that stunt he pulled getting eye surgery before the show.
No, for no reason whatsoever. But for me, it's Bruce, Kevin, Dave, Scott, Mark. That's all of them, right?
Yeah.
Bellini don't count.
Yeah, I mean,
he counts, but he's not part of the kids.
There is Jeff Berman, the producer who showed up as an extra, who they determined was actually the fifth kid in the hall because he's been in more sketches than Kevin has.
Yeah,
that was the Big in France episode, which is one of my favorite sketches ever.
It's interesting though, because now that I think about it, like the kids in the hall quote I do or character that I quote the most is definitely Don Roritor.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Are we even gonna get the big fucking table in here? Do I have to cut that fucking thing down myself?
Yeah, I probably quote Gavin the most, as I'm sure many people do.
He's getting his head rubbed. Less in circles, more in circles.
Was that other guy in Brain Candies that Bruce plays? I think his name's like Grimo or something.
Grebo. Yeah.
Oh, my coffee's a little Luke. It's lukewarm. It's Luke Skywalker, you fucking idiot.
Oh no, Grebo wasn't Grebo the rock star?
Oh right. Yeah, he was. Okay. Yeah. This guy's someone else. Anyway, Kids in the Hall is a good program. They're going to be back on with new episodes soon.
Yeah, you should watch it at that. It's on that channel from that guy who goes to space instead of paying his employees.
And it's like, you know what? I want three things out of life. I want to go to space. I want some new Kids in the Hall episodes, and I want to have a bunch of employees that do not urinate.
Yeah. Because pissing is missing.
Pissing's
missing.
Every
What's
time
missing?
you take
the money.
How does your piss affect our bottom line?
Do you piss money? If you do, piss all day.
Kind of do.
No, but no, pissing money. They're pissing money away. He wants them to piss actual money.
Yeah, they're pissing his
extra
money
money.
out, and he's like, I could have used that money for not paying you.
One thing we should bring up real quick is that, no offense to John Carpenter, you are very good at writing music. Like, your music for your movies are great. You just never did the other part, you know. The right part where you explain the movie
You
with
forgot,
lyrics.
you forgot to hire a lyricist.
But you are a very good keyboard player, John Carpenter. And your kid, Cody Carpenter, is a good keyboard player to boot.
and I'm cool with stuff named Cody. So
Yeah, to the max.
way up to the max.
So anyway, we have been talking exclusively about the classic 1980s action adventure, dark whatever. Escape from New York.
Yeah, it's a dark whatever.
Yeah, and the song that you heard earlier, that is on EP7. That is out now. If you want to buy it, if you want to give me money, then go to Bandcamp to buy it. If you just want to listen to it for free and give me a fraction of a cent, then go to fucking Apple Music or Deezer or some of those other ones.
Or if you want to buy the publishing rights, I really don't know how that would work or if they would even be for sale. But, make an offer. We'll see.
So, you can find all that stuff at TUUGOF.com. And, we'll see you next week. Next week, we're going to talk about this guy who was also,
He liked to party.
He liked to party. And honestly, I was about to say that he doesn't write true themes, but he kind of does because he's written a lot of operas.
Yeah, but is that a theme? That's like the whole thing is a...
Yeah. To be TBD.
Yeah,
TUUGOF.com. Fucka knucka.